The full story of the cluster bean flower, history, science, and 25 plus untold facts. Cluster bean flower, Part 1. Have you ever wondered about the cluster bean, guar, the vegetable we eat, and how it begins its life as a tiny flower? This flower is so small that most people never even take a close look at it. Yet, this very flower eventually produces the pods that yield guar gum, a product worth crores of rupees. This guar gum is used in everything from ice cream, medicines, and cosmetics to the oil and gas industry. But what does this flower actually look like? How does pollination occur? When does it bloom? And why do not all flowers turn into pods, despite the plant producing so many of them? Today, we will explore the complete story of the cluster bean flower, covering its history, science, and fascinating facts you have likely never heard before. What is cluster bean guar? First, let's understand what guar actually is. The scientific name for guar is Siamopsis tetragonoloba, and it belongs to the Fabaceae family, the legume or pulse family. This family includes many well-known plants such as peas, kidney beans, black-eyed peas, lobia, and pigeon peas, arha. Consequently, the structure of guar flowers bears a strong resemblance to these plants. In India, guar is primarily cultivated in Rajasthan, Haryana, Gujarat, Punjab, and western Uttar Pradesh. Rajasthan alone contributes significantly to the country's total guar production. In its green stage, the pods are consumed as a vegetable, while the dried seeds are used to produce the world-famous guar gum. Where did guar originate? Now, the question arises, where did guar originate? According to botanists, there are still some differences of opinion regarding the exact origin of guar, but most research links it to the arid regions of the Indian subcontinent. From there, its cultivation gradually spread to many countries, including the Middle East, Africa, the Americas, and Australia. Today, India ranks among the world's largest producers of guar and exporters of guar gum. When did guar flowers appear? Now, let us address the most important question. Under normal conditions, flowers begin to appear on guar plants approximately 35 to 50 days after sowing. If the weather is favorable, there is adequate sunlight, and soil moisture remains balanced, the plant continues to produce new flowers for several weeks. Small pods begin to form about 10 to 20 days after flowering. In other words, the pod you see in the market originates from this tiny flower. What does the guar flower look like? Let us take a closer look at the flower. The guar flower is very small and delicate. It typically measures between 1 and 2 centimeters in length. Depending on the variety, its color can be white, pale pink, pale blue, or pale purple. Its most distinctive feature is its butterfly-like shape, a characteristic trait of the Fabaceae family. If viewed closely, the shape might even resemble a tiny orchid, although the two plants are not closely related. Where do the flowers grow? Guar flowers do not emerge at the tips of the branches but rather at the junction of the leaf and the stem, known as the leaf axil. They bloom in small clusters rather than singly. A single cluster may contain multiple flowers, but not all of them develop into pods. This is why the number of flowers does not always match the number of mature pods. Part 1 concludes here. In the next part, we will explore the complete structure of the guar flower, how self-pollination occurs, the role of honeybees, why the flowers open in the morning, scientific reasons for flower drop, the entire process of pod formation from the flower, and many other interesting facts. The full story of the cluster bean, guar, flower, history, science, and 25 plus untold facts. Part 2. Structure of the guar flower. Let us now explore what this tiny flower looks like on the inside. Like other plants in the Fabaceae family, the guar flower has a papilionaceous structure, meaning it is shaped like a butterfly. It consists of 5 petals. The large uppermost petal is called the standard, or banner. The petals on the 2 sides are known as wings. The 2 lower petals join together to form the keel. The male and female reproductive organs of the flower are safely enclosed within this keel. The flower typically has 10 stamens. Most of these are fused together, while one remains separate. In botany, this is known as a diadelphous arrangement, a distinctive characteristic of the legume family. The ovary located in the center eventually develops into the guar pod. How does pollination occur in guar? Now, the question arises, how does pollination take place in such a small flower? Guar is primarily a self-pollinating plant. This means that, in most cases, pollen from the flower lands on its own stigma to achieve fertilization. Consequently, the guar crop does not rely on honeybees to the same extent as many other crops do. However, honeybees, butterflies, and other insects do visit the flowers and can facilitate a limited amount of cross-pollination. This sometimes helps increase genetic diversity. When do the flowers open and how long do they last? Most guar flowers open in the morning. Under favorable weather conditions, pollination is completed on the same day. If fertilization is successful, the flower petals begin to wither within a few days, and the ovary at the base gradually enlarges to form a small pod. In other words, the lifespan of the flower is not very long, yet the foundation for the entire next crop is laid during this brief period. Why do not all flowers turn into pods? This question is significant for both farmers and gardening enthusiasts. Even if a plant produces hundreds of flowers, not every flower develops into a successful pod. There can be several reasons for this. If soil moisture drops during the flowering stage, the plant may shed some flowers to conserve energy. High temperatures, specifically around 40 degrees Celsius or above, or strong, hot winds, (Lu), increase the likelihood of flower drop. Waterlogging can also damage the roots, leading to flower drop. Additionally, deficiencies in boron, phosphorus, or other micronutrients can cause flowers and young pods to fall off. Certain pests and diseases can also damage the flowers, reducing the plant's potential to produce pods. How to ensure more flowers and better pods? If the plant receives adequate sunlight, balanced nutrition, and timely irrigation, the flowers develop more healthily. Maintaining proper soil moisture during the flowering stage is crucial. In cases of nutrient deficiency, applying balanced fertilizers and micronutrients based on an agricultural expert's advice can be beneficial. If a plant growth regulator, such as gibberellic acid, is to be used, it should be applied strictly according to recommended dosages and expert advice. Results can vary depending on the field and specific conditions. Interesting facts about guar flowers. Finally, here are some facts that few people know. Guar flowers are small in size, yet the seeds they produce are the source of guar gum, which is renowned worldwide. Guar gum is used for various purposes, ranging from keeping ice cream smooth and thickening sauces to applications in pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, the paper industry, and the oil and gas sector. As guar is a leguminous plant, rhizobium bacteria residing in its roots help fix atmospheric nitrogen into the soil, thereby enhancing soil fertility. India remains one of the world's leading producers and exporters of guar and guar gum. So, the next time you see a guar pod, remember that it originated from a tiny, delicate, and scientifically remarkable flower. If you enjoy such unique and authentic information about flowers, please like the video, share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe to the In the World of Flowers channel. In the next video, we will explore the complete journey of the guar pod, its seeds, and guar gum.